That's okay.
Oh, man.
Oh.
That's all right. I've been thought a lot worse of.
So.
Hello, everybody. I'm just sitting here waiting for Wanda to figure out what she's doing. Oh, they moved it.
I don't know what's going on. They keep moving our stuff, and
The chat didn't come up, so
there it is. All right. Hello, it's Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead.
Well, they wouldn't be watching us. They know who we are.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe. Well, some people just might have popped in for the
They
first time.
might have, but
we got anybody the first time? Come on, really? But you don't know who we are?
Maybe not.
There might be somebody.
Yeah, that'd be kind of.
Somebody just hunting a live stream, and they just happened upon Deep South Homestead, right? Y'all, please thumbs up. Come on.
Yeah, please thumbs up. We are being shadow banned really, really bad.
Yeah, it gets worse this time of the year, but especially with all that's going on in porch time and different stuff, it gets a little worse.
Yeah. Matter of fact, they pulled more of my videos. So
yeah, they pulled another video. Not on Deep South, though. It is one that we had on Patreon, and it was a year and a half ago for medical misinformation.
Yeah, according to them.
Yeah.
We know they wouldn't have pulled it if it hadn't been accurate.
Yeah, it's misinformation, but if it was accurate, that's what they want to pull.
Yeah.
Just saying. We got a moderator in here that's got a happy birthday. You want to sing happy birthday?
Who?
Miss Allison.
Miss Allison's got a birthday?
Today.
Today? Is she in here?
She's in there. Sing happy birthday to Miss Allison.
Well, Miss Allison, happy birthday to you. Yeah. How about that?
I actually sang to her this morning. She probably didn't listen and she didn't comment, so it was pretty bad singing, I guess.
Well.
She said thank you, but she didn't comment on the singing.
Oh, man.
Okay. So what else?
Oh, man.
Should I get some of this out of the way so I don't forget it in a few minutes? Because I know I will.
Yeah.
She said thank you. She still didn't say thank you for singing.
Oh. Well.
Miss Kathy always sends us a letter, and I love reading Miss Kathy's letters. She sends us one about every 2 or 3 weeks, and she's just got a way of writing. I don't know. It makes me laugh. So thank you, Kathy. This is from Becky. Yeah.
Graham. Yeah. Look at this, guys. This is pretty cool right here now. Y'all know we grow our sweet potatoes, and here we have a new sweet potato recipe book. This is awesome.
Yeah. I've not even had time to really look, but sweet potato nut pie, sweet potato souffle, cobblers, ice cream,
man, cheesecakes. Look, I'm getting hungry already. I ain't even had, man, alive.
What else in here? Empanadas?
Empanadas. Yes.
Where you make the, and see, this would be so good because that's kind of like a fried pie.
Yeah.
And they're putting sweet potatoes and maple syrup and cinnamon and vanilla in the inside of a dough and frying it. Oh my goodness. Man. Apple crumbles. Sweet potato shepherd's pie.
Yeah, but a sweet potato sausage crumble. Man.
Oh, that
everybody on here is going to be hungry before this is over with.
Chicken Hawaiian style with sweet potatoes. A quiche. Onion bake. Sweet potato onion bake. Now, y'all, I know lots of people said they don't want onions with their sweet potatoes. But I can take and make you a sweet potato stir fry with onions and peppers.
Oh, yeah.
And you can add chicken or turkey or whatever you want to it, but what do you think of the sweet potatoes and onions?
Well, I don't care. You can't ruin a sweet potato.
Roasted sweet potatoes, sweet potato fries, baked sweet potato, adding it to winter veggies.
It's just good. Sweet potatoes is just good all the way around.
Cream of sweet potato soup.
Now, we did that one year, remember? Mm-hmm. You used the white ones for a thickener.
Yeah.
We learned how to do that.
Sweet potato muffins. See, that's just awesome. Thank you, Becky. So, now who sent this one? You remember?
That was in with one of them there.
I can't read them. Let me look and see. Where would it say?
Right there.
L. Hare. I don't remember her first name. It looks like Leisha?
Leslie.
Leslie?
Leslie.
Leslie. That's it.
That's
I
it.
remember now because I sent her something. It
Yeah.
was Leslie.
Miss
Okay.
Leslie. And Miss Leslie sent a whole basket full of stuff here.
Okay. First off, this little cross. And you can read it. Well, I don't know if you can or not with your eyes.
Not with my eyes. I can't.
Those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. And the word trust, they will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint not. Isaiah 40,
yeah.
31.
It's
Okay.
Isaiah. Yeah, I knew that.
Then these I had not seen before. These
are measuring
cups, but they're silicone on the bottom, and
they're collapsible.
They collapse so that they stack together.
That's pretty thoughtful.
Now that's cute. That would come in handy because they store away, or you can hang them.
You can hang them up on a nail.
Okay, and then bar mops in my colors, y'all. These are my colors. This pumpkin color.
You got to get them up where people
Oh,
can see
I'm
them.
sorry. This pumpkin color. She said everybody could use bar mops. We use a lot of them, don't we?
Use a lot of them. Yeah. Not that we're that messy. We just,
I just like my stuff. All right.
Okay. Now comes the real stuff.
The s'mores candy corn.
S'mores candy corn.
This one, I'm not. It said somewhere, but I don't remember where I found it. It's in writing on the back, and it's so.
Oh, you're moving it too fast for me.
Caramel apple. This one's caramel apple. And this one is blackberry.
Wow.
So I ended up with more candy corn.
Yeah, and for those of you who didn't know, Miss Wanda had an interview with the New York Times.
They hadn't published
over
a story
her candy
yet.
corn, of all things.
Yeah, they haven't published a story, but the guy said toward the end of the month, so it's getting toward the end of the month, and we shall see.
Okay.
All right, so
Is a bar mop a tea towel, Joan says.
is a bar mop a tea towel? Well,
You're asking the wrong person if you ask me. They just look like a washcloth to me.
hold on. It's like dish towels.
That's what I'm thinking. It looks like
It's
a dish.
a dish towel, but they
looks
call
like-
it a bar mop.
Looks like a dish towel to me. It's made to use on a bar. To clean a mop, they made to clean the bar up and you just mop the bar up with it, I reckon is what it's supposed
Yeah,
to be.
but it's like dish towels.
But it's actually wrote on the thing, bar mop.
Yeah. It's actually, they call it bar mop.
It's a
but-
16 by 19 cloth.
Yeah, but it works really well when you're drying dishes, and if you spill something or whatever.
Well, Camper Jack says, Danny will now need to build a candy corn museum. I don't know if that'll happen or not.
I have a cabinet that he built, 15, 20 years
Yeah.
ago, that we repainted. I don't remember what color it was, but we painted it white. Maybe it was white, but it had some stenciling and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's right. It had a bunch of stenciling on it. I think it was white. Read What You Sow says, Mr. Danny, do you grow banana peppers? Yes, we grow them every spring. We do grow them. The Art of Today says tea towels are thinner.
Tea towels are thinner.
So that's new for me because I don't know nothing about stuff like that.
The typical size of tea towels is 28 by 28, and
That's 16 by 19, wasn't
these
it?
are 16 by 19.
Yeah.
So these are more like dish towels, is what I think. Okay.
Okay. All right. Somebody must have asked, do we go to the bar and drink? And Janice goes, they don't go to the bar and drink, and don't ask in the first place.
Why would you ask in the first place? My limitation with bars is probably slim to none. I've been to a few, many years ago, and was not real thrilled with the atmospheres.
Of course, when we were all younger, I think
we all tried it.
I used to be a line dancer, and
Danny
stuff.
stayed there some in his younger years.
In my younger years, I did visit them. Not too frequently, but it's where the women were.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I hung out at.
When I was a teenager, I did not go anywhere like that. I didn't go, well, actually, the only reason I went in my later years, I was in my 30s, was friends of mine were in a band, and I was one of the roadies. I helped with the equipment and stuff, and I followed the band.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I cared about the bar atmosphere. I just liked listening to the band, and so for about a year and a half, I followed them around.
Well, I never did really drink that much.
No, me either.
Because I always was the one who had to drive, so I knew better than to do that.
Yeah.
But I just liked to dance when I was younger. I used to love it.
Yeah. No, I have 2 left feet. I can't dance. None of that was good for me.
Yeah.
Somebody said they saw the Funchetti candy corn. I don't have that one. That's one I was looking today to see what flavors they might have available, and most of everything I found that was available I already have. There was 2 or 3 I didn't, but for the most part I had everything available.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so several people say they went to the bars to dance. That was about the only place you could dance back in the day. You know, even my great aunt shocked me one time. She was in her 80s when I interviewed her. And she said, when I was a young person, she said, we went to dances. She said, our mamas didn't really want us to, but we went because we liked to dance.
Yeah, that's just it.
And that's where they met the guys and stuff. They weren't drinking back then.
No.
But they liked the dance. And they liked to watch people dance.
I went to the VFWs and stuff like that. You know, everybody.
Moose Lodge.
The Moose Lodges and stuff, because people danced.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's now skating was my favorite thing.
And I can't skate either.
I could skate like a scalded.
I lived in a skating rink because my ex-husband skated a lot.
I could skate like crazy, man.
And my kids were excellent at skating, but I just sat and watched and talked to other people. Man. I didn't
I'd
skate.
fly around. I was long-legged, and I'd fly around that thing, boy, around and around and around. Just I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but Danny and I have not, since we've been married, we don't go anywhere.
We don't go nowhere and do nothing. We're too old.
Well, we could go somewhere, but we don't. We're happy with where we're at, and when you're happy where you're at, you don't have the desire to go do a whole lot of things.
Well, that's the reason we do what we call staycations. We don't do vacations, we do staycations.
If we're tired, we hit the cabin and chill.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just chill here in the house for a day or 2 if we need to.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just whatever we need to do, we do it. Yeah.
You save money.
I just sleep out under the stars if I want to.
You could.
Yeah.
It's a little cool at night.
It's a little cool at night right now, but today, guys, today it was 90-something degrees here. I thought I was going to die out there. I was like, Lord have mercy. I was like, God, what happened to... Did somebody turn the AC off?
Because it was cool this morning. Danny got up and he says, well, I'm not going to go out. You were going to go work on something. And he says, I don't think I am. He said, it's cool.
The house was so warm.
Yeah, we decided just to stay in longer than necessary. It was probably an hour and a half before we ever went out, according to normal. And it was still cool outside. But once that sun come up.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely, this weather is wacky this morning. We got up, it was cold, and then by 11 and 12 o'clock, we were sweating up a storm. And then, I don't know out there right now. I guess it's going to cool off again. I don't know. Reap What You Sow says, Mr. Danny, how do I tell female flowers on my eggplants? And I know he's a young guy, but any male and female, the male never has the fruit on it. The female is always the one with the fruit on it. That's the one that's receptive. I'm trying to be very cordial about this, but
politically correct.
Yeah, I got to be politically correct about this, but the male is only a flower. The female always has the fruit on it.
Yeah.
Author of Illustrated B.J. Lapierre, B.J. Moore, stocking up because of you. We have 37 quarts of spaghetti sauce, 56 pints of green beans, 35 quarts of venison, cucumbers, and zucchini pickles galore. Going to do green tomatoes for frying, pickled cherry tomatoes, and etc.
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about.
I did sweet potatoes today.
Wanda did sweet potatoes today. Not quite that many, but she did sweet potatoes today.
Well, I got a whole floor of them still. I think I'm up to, I don't even know how many jars I've put up yet.
Oh, we're getting close to 100, ain't you?
Probably.
Probably about 80 something.
I'd say 75
Yeah.
to 80. Because there's been about a week and a half I've not canned any. And I said, man, I got to get back on this. So I canned some today and I'll can some tomorrow. And try and get those done tomorrow evening. And I've got a floor full. It's just going to take me a while. It's way more sweet potatoes than I thought we would have this year. And so we feel blessed. And I have to get this done. It's something every year I have to push myself.
Somebody wants to know, who's the author of that cookbook?
Homestead Farms. Let me see.
Look at the author of it now. That ain't the
Homestead Farms.
That's probably not the author, huh?
That is, Homestead Farms. I'm telling you.
It ain't in the back?
All right. That's acknowledgments. Homestead Farms.
We're going to find out here in a minute.
All right. These recipes are dedicated to both the sweet potato lover as well as those who, before trying them, were convinced they did not like sweet potatoes in any form or fashion. We feel there is something here for everyone at Homestead Farms. See?
Okay, so Homestead Farms. That's all we need to know.
We try to specialize in farming those crops that are highly suited for our soil and climate. Homestead Farms.
Okay.
I don't know where you find it, but it should be out there.
Winter Homestead says, my husband wants to know how you two met. I forgot. Well, we met on here, if that makes sense.
On the internet.
We met on the internet. We were, my wife had passed away. Wanda was divorced. And I was on Christian Mingle. She was on Christian Mingle. My brother met his wife on there, and he says, hey, man, give it a shot. You might find somebody there. And I went on there, and it was like looking at cows through a stockyard, And I said, man, I ain't staying here. And Ms. Wanda had the same experience.
Danny was on Christian Mingle for what, maybe close to 6 months or so?
No.
3 or 4 months?
About maybe 3 at the most.
I got on, and within 2 weeks, I'm like, I'm done. This is crazy. It was awful. There were so many people, and they weren't Christian.
No.
1 or 2 of them I talked to. When you talk to them, I said, do you go to church? Yeah. So we talked a while, and then I never would give anybody any information,
Right.
where I was at or anything until I knew who I was talking to. So most of them got no information because they really weren't. But they would say, yeah, I went to church last year when my daughter was in a play or something. That wasn't what I meant. And you could tell right quick they weren't really Christian people. But Danny's picture, something about it when I first saw him, he looked like he was from...
Looked like I was from the Middle East.
From the Middle East.
Well,
He was really dark. It was before Debbie had passed, and Debbie took the picture, and he was holding his grandson, Trey.
Yeah.
And
my hair
Trey was about a year old, maybe not even a year old.
Yeah, but there should have been a cue to you that I wasn't from the Middle East because I was like 200-something pounds.
Well, he was over 200 pounds. His hair was real dark.
My hair was jet black. My beard was jet black. My skin was almost, well, I mean, my arms are dark now, but they were really, really dark then. He worked
outside all the time. So he was very dark, and he had on a white shirt, which amplified the darkness of his skin. And so... And the thing you had, what was it called? How did you had kosher backwards? Or something kosher?
You got me there.
I forgot what his handle was. What you didn't put your real name, and I thought it said goat's herd or something. I forgot.
Oh, you thought I was a goat herder. I remember you telling me that. Yes.
And finally, when I asked him about
Yeah,
it,
she thought I was a goat herder from the Middle East.
Kosher in it, and I had just glanced at it, so I wasn't sure I wanted to talk to somebody from the Middle East, and so I messaged him, and he messaged back, and he says, "Well, I live with my mama and my dad. I live with my mom and my dad, and I help take care of my disabled brother." Okay, that turned me off right then. That was like the worst thing to ever tell me. You live with your mom and dad, and you help take care of your disabled brother. Not that that's a bad thing, but when you're 50 years old and the guy tells you he's living with his mom and daddy, that was like, oh man.
Yeah.
And so I didn't talk to him for a week or so, and then I decided to get off, and he messaged or I messaged something. And I said, look, I'm getting off here. I don't like this. And I gave him my phone number and said, if you want to talk one day, call me.
Call her.
And about 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah, I thought about it a lot. You know, I mean, I was just like, man, I kept thinking, I was like, do I want to call this woman or not? You know? And finally one day I just said, you know what? I said, I got nothing to lose. I mean,
just talking on the phone.
I've never actually met her face to face. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, so I said, oh yeah. I said, we'll do it.
I have to try and find that picture of Danny. Yeah. And so he called me, and we talked 4, 5, 6 hours that night.
Yeah.
And again, we did not give each other where we were located. Well, he might have said where he was at, but I didn't. I'm directionally illiterate. So
yeah, I could have told her anything, and she wouldn't have known where.
I wouldn't have known where he was at.
Yeah, she didn't know how to get home from where she was.
I got turned around.
She got lost going home.
So we talked for hours, and I thought he was really a computer genius because I was into herbs. I studied herbs.
I really am.
Yeah, I know. And and so lots of things I knew about, very few men knew about. And so we were talking, and since his wife had had cancer, I said something about Easci tea, and he says, yeah, and he mentioned the 4 herbs that were in Easci tea. And I'm sitting there going, there ain't no way. There ain't no way this guy that I just started talking to knows the 4 herbs that are in Easci tea and can just spout them like that. I said, boy, he's good on a computer, because I thought he was typing in Easci tea and information was popping up in front of him and he was reading off of a screen.
Yeah.
Everything we talked about that night, he was just spot on. And I'm like, wow. So the first night, it was really a I don't know thing for both of us.
We both wasn't sure the first night. But you know, the one good thing about this is
Lippy's laughing.
Well, hey, it ain't funny. Now,
it
was funny too, but the one thing that I learned really, really quick is if you've never met anybody and you're only talking to them on the telephone, I said, you know what, this is the perfect time. I can ask anything I want to ask and say anything I want to say, because she really don't know who I am and I really don't know who she is.
Yeah.
So we spent the first couple of weeks just talking on the telephone.
We didn't meet.
Never met for 2 weeks. I didn't know if the picture she put up online was really her or not. I mean, it could have been you know, she could have been a Samu wrestler for all I know.
The second picture that he sent me the week we were to meet, he sent me a picture, did not look like the guy in the first picture.
Right.
He had lost Debbie. He had gotten sick, had health issues himself, and he had lost what?
I had lost close to 80 pounds.
40 or 50 pounds, 60
no,
at
I lost
least.
About 60 to 70 pounds. Yeah.
He had lost a lot of weight. His hair had turned, and it was almost a blondish.
My hair was almost blonde at that time.
Yeah, and it was real long, where the other guy had short hair. And I'm like, is this the same guy? But you could see it in his eyes. But he was very sad.
Yeah.
And so the second picture was very different from the first. And so I don't know. They want to know about Easci tea. It's burdock.
They wanted to know how to spell it, because they were saying Easci tea. No. And they said, could we please spell it?
Renee Casey. And Easci is Casey backwards, C-A-I-S. Is there 2 S's in it? Or?
Yeah, S-A. I spelled it. I spelled it wrong. E-S. I got 2 S's. It's supposed to be E-S-I-A.
Yeah, I don't think there's 2 S's.
There's only 1 S. I'm sorry. I hit 2 S's when listening to you talk.
Casey, C-A-I-S-E, but she turned it around and called it Easci.
Yeah.
And she was from Canada, and her story is very unique.
Her story is really unique because, I mean, I studied this lady like crazy.
Yeah, I did too.
I did like 10,000 hours worth of research into cancer, and this lady in Canada, they were sending her all the terminally ill patients to her. Mm-hmm. And they were all getting healed, and they had to stop her.
And when she passed, they destroyed.
They destroyed.
They said they destroyed her
quote
work.
Unquote.
Her work went away. Put it that way. But the 4 herbs that they knew were in there, people have duplicated that. Possibly not exactly like she did, because nobody had her recipes exactly. But I do know that years ago I made the Easci tea several times myself, and I had a friend who his legs were swelling and he could barely walk. He was to the point that he couldn't get up and go outside for very long and things like that. He went on the Easci tea, and he drank the Easci tea for about a month and a half, and from the next thing you know, he's up gardening, going 90 to nothing. So it does help. I can't say that it cures anything, because that's medical misinformation.
Medical misinformation. If we said that, but anyway, that's what that's kind of how we met. Anyway, we
talked for 2 weeks.
And then
I asked him, was he coming to visit me, and he said no.
Nope. I said, I ain't coming to see you.
He said, I don't drive.
I told her, I said I did. I told her I don't drive, and I didn't.
At that point, he was under doctor's orders really not to be driving.
Yeah.
Because of health issues, and so I made up my mind that weekend, if he ain't coming here, I'm going there. And I didn't know, he said he had a house. I had no clue what kind of house he had, because he didn't want somebody marrying him for his land and his house.
Yeah. And
I didn't want to marry somebody for that. And so I came out here and I was shocked from day one. And he had, we just hit it off. We knew before I ever come out here that we were meant to be each other.
Yeah.
God kind of ordained a lot of it. So I don't know. You can buy Easci tea.
You can buy the powders. You can buy the stuff at the health food stores.
I think so. Yeah. I think you have to make it yourself, but I think you can buy the powder. Because it's like, what is it? Like
Slipperium and
burdock root.
Burdock root, and there's 2 more.
It's been so long.
It's been 13 years since I fooled with that stuff.
Yeah, there was 4 of them, and I cannot remember the other 2.
Yeah, but anyway, that's the gist of it anyway.
Yeah, she cured many in the U.S. too. But she was in Canada.
Yeah.
Can I grow ginger in a greenhouse in the winter? I grow mine, but
Miss Wanda does, but it dies back, and she has to harvest it.
Yeah, I'm fixing to harvest mine probably in the next month if it ever turns cold here.
If it ever turns cold, guys. It is so crazy, guys. I'm telling you.
Okay, sheep sorrel, Slipperium, rhubarb, and burdock root. That's it. Thank you, Linda.
Yes.
I knew if I saw it, sheep sorrel was what I was trying to think, because we have the sorrel here, but it's not sheep sorrel.
Yeah.
And Slipperium is what a lot of people use for stomach issues.
Yeah, God brought us together. It wasn't me and Wanda. Me and Wanda played no part in this, because I had told the Lord, after my wife passed away, I was 50 years old, and I said, Lord, I probably won't ever remarry. I said, but if there's somebody out there, you're going to have to bring them to me, because I'm not going to them. And then he brought Wanda into my life, and
I came out here. He was very shocked, because he did not think I would drive here.
Yeah, I told her, I ain't going to your house. I said, if you want to see me, you got to come to here.
And he didn't think I would come, and I did. And then we talked another probably 2 weeks, and he didn't know, but I had made a promise to myself that I would not chase after guys. If they wanted to come see me, they would come see me, because I saw so many women doing just that, doing whatever, you know. And I said, I'm not going to do it. So he said, you coming back out? And I said, nope. And he said, what do you mean? I said, if you want to see me, you got to come here. And he said, but I don't drive. And I said, well, you got to make your mind up.
Yep. It was dangerous, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, Robert Mitchell says, Danny, can I grow onions in my greenhouse in the winter? Yes, you can. We have a video showing us growing onions under English peas, which they said would not work, and it worked just fine.
I think that was more in the spring, though.
Yeah, but we grew them over winter.
Yeah,
and
we
then
started
we planted
them in
the
the
English
winter.
peas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got the multiplying onions in there now.
Yeah.
And also.
Oh, let's see here.
Miss Wanda, I bought a processed chicken roll can. I jar
And pressure
can it. A processed chicken.
A chicken roll. I don't know what a processed chicken roll is.
I guess they're talking about those pressed chicken.
Maybe so. I mean, I don't know. We
I
don't go to the store, so I don't know.
I don't know. If it's already in a can, but if it's not, I don't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't answer that one. I really don't know on that one. I've never seen one of those.
Corey says, good evening. Do y'all have any advice on pine bark beetles? Thank you. Well, we have a problem with them here. If we damage a pine tree, they get into it. And they took we had a good chemical that would take care of it. You can mix diesel fuel and lindane together and spray it on the tree, and it would get rid of the pine bark beetles. Now, I don't know if lindane has a new name that it's under now, but
they
you can.
Took out most of they don't. My dad was a pest control man.
Yeah.
So they took lindane and a whole bunch of other things off the market. And it's hard to get them. If you get them, it's going to be in a watered down.
Yeah. But lindane was the chemical that when we was in the timber industry, that was the chemical that was used with diesel fuel. The diesel fuel was used as a surfactant to actually make it stick to the tree where it wouldn't beat up and just run off of the tree. But you can Google it, I'm sure, lindane and diesel fuel for beetle control, and it might give you the new chemical that they use now.
Somebody asked if am I canning anything. I just today canned sweet potatoes and fixing to can some more tomorrow. I'm gradually working these piles down. Yeah, Darlene's right. Check National Center for Home Preservation online and see if they mention what you were asking about that chicken, because I really don't know.
Empress Jennifer Southwest Canada says, what repels raccoons other than bullets? I don't know, because I killed one this week that was probably close to 18 pounds. That thing is a big old boar coon. He was in my stuff every night. And I finally, he made a mistake and was there at the wrong time. And I got him and got rid of him.
Okay, Ed wants to know, did I plant my yellow wax beans? Yes, in the high tunnel I did. And somebody wants to know, is my cookbook going to be for sale again? Not anytime soon. Maybe next year. But when we get through with a few projects and get some things done, sometime next year I would like to do a updated version, because I usually wait 2 to 3 years and update. And I've got several new recipes and would love to do a volume 3. But it'll be next year. Possibly summer or later, and maybe have it out by the fall.
Miss Allison says she found a book in her attic from the 1800s that gives formulas to make different chemicals and varnishes out of.
Wow.
That is interesting, yeah.
Miss Allison's been having fun with all these books she's finding.
Yes.
And I'm loving the newspapers. 1803, 1807. Y'all, I could just read those all the time. They got some interesting stuff in them.
Let's see here. Connie Graves says, I have 50 pounds of white potatoes to can next week. I'm going to tell you, now is the time to be canning. Can all you can right now, because food is fixing to go even higher than what it is now.
Yeah, whatever you can find to store. I just put in another order to my Patriot Supply. Even though Danny and I don't eat that, that's not something we sit and eat. I try to keep the cans in case we need bartering items or families here or something like that, and we need the extra food. So the cans were on sale. I don't know if they still are. They were yesterday or the day before. I watched their sales, and the 1 week can I think was like $30 cheaper than normal or something. I can't remember. And one of the other, or 20 something dollars, there was a bigger can of fruits and veggies I think was on sale for like $30 less than what it's usually. So I kind of try to watch those sales. I ordered some more of the soup from Frontier, from Anderson House.
Yeah.
Even though we don't eat this all the time or eat it on a regular basis, it makes good for a bartering item. And plus, if we were hungry, Danny can't eat most all of it. He may not want to, but he can eat it because it has limited chemicals in most all of it.
Someone asked, what type of 10-10-10 fertilizer do I use? To be honest with you, the 10-10-10, the only place I can find that is from Hoss Tool. Here locally, nobody sells 10-10-10. They only sell triple 13, and it's just a local place that makes it. It's not anything. It's not an online thing. I don't think that you can go and buy. I get it at a local feed store right here.
Allison said, I found a jar of Aunt Millie's spaghetti sauce that expired in 1983. Do you think I should save it for barter or no?
Well, it depends on how hungry the person is,
1983 is when it expired.
Yeah.
So it was made before then.
Okay, Nadia has asked this a couple of times. My elephant garlic has not come up yet. It's been 2 weeks. I do water them every day. It's Nadia, it's not the time of the year for the elephant garlic to come up right now. It's probably going to be a little bit longer before it even comes up out of the ground. So don't overwater it, because if you overwater it, you'll make it rot. So just probably just leave it alone, and it probably should be okay.
Yeah. The bottom leaves of our tomatoes keep going yellow even after cutting them off. What could be the issue?
Usually when the bottom leaves go yellow, it's a couple of different things. One, lack of the good nutrition, nitrogen and stuff like that's just not there in the soil. It could be a phosphorus issue, not taking up, the right amount of phosphorus. It could be a Epsom salt. The other thing just lost. I just left my mind. But and then it could just be a virus, because sometimes when viruses hit them, it literally will cause the bottom leaves to turn yellow. It don't matter how many of them you take off; they just keep turning yellow, going up the plant.
Yeah. Will you be selling garlic chives and seeds on Etsy? I just got some garlic chive seeds off of my garlic chives this afternoon. It wasn't a lot, so that I won't be selling them on Etsy, but I did harvest some because I saw them popped open, and I really didn't want a whole bunch more right where they were at, so because they'll just keep going. And so I did harvest a few, but it wasn't enough to sell.
Now, they want to know how we cure our sweet potatoes. Well, when we dig our sweet potatoes, we basically just spread them out in a cool, dry place where rodents and animals can't get to them, and we just leave them there for about 2 weeks in a cool, dry place. And usually in about 2 weeks, of course, now the longer they cure, the sweeter they are, because more of the starches turn to sugars in them. So if you want to leave them a lot longer, that's fine, but 2 weeks is about the length of time that it takes for them to cure.
Okay, let me see something. I will try to have some peppercorns when I have time to start splitting them and getting them up, but that's got to cool off before I start shipping, because they'll just wilt in this heat. And somebody said, since I can sweet potatoes, can you do pumpkin?
Pumpkin is not advised to be canned.
The only way I would do pumpkin is if you leave it in chunks.
Yeah.
Don't make
a puree. Don't make a puree out of it.
Don't make a puree with your sweet potatoes or mashed potatoes
Right.
or anything like that. They really frown on anything like that. Even though I know the Amish do some things like that. I don't know how they do it, so I'm not saying it's wrong because I've tasted some of their stuff. Their sweet potato butter or whatever they made was really delicious, but I don't know how they do it. But I would not do anything like that with pumpkins in chunks.
They want to know, can you recan jelly if it did not set? As long as you do it right away, you can.
Within 24 hours.
Within 24 hours, if you do it within 24 hours, you can redo it.
If not, you've got syrup and you just pour it on pancakes and stuff.
You just made syrup. That's
what I do. Most of the time, if mine does not set, we use it as syrup. Do you have any suggestions for field mice? She says she can't poison due to cats and dogs.
Well, if you got cats and you got field mice, you're feeding your cats too much.
Yeah, your cat should be catching.
The cat should be catching the field mice. So you need to back off on the cat food is what I would think. Now Brenda says she dehydrates her pumpkins and then turns it into powder.
Yes.
And that's a good idea.
And if you have freeze dryers, you can freeze dry it and turn it into powder.
Yeah.
Both is very.
Now you can put if you puree pumpkin, now you can put that in the freezer just like sweet potatoes. You can puree it and put it in a freezer. Mm-hmm. You just can't can it.
Yeah. People says Miss Christina says she's canned pumpkin puree and it's fine, but it's not recommended in the ball book. That's what I was going at. Let's see.
Oh, let's see.
I want to mention this.
There's something we need to mention to you guys here. There was a lady who contacted us.
And I'm not going to give you.
We're not going to give you her name or anything like that. She contacted us. She's from another state, but she had a piece of property in South Carolina, and her and her husband were going to move to that property from another location last year, and her husband fell ill.
But she had already ordered
two high tunnels from Grower Solutions. And the high tunnels are now on a neighbor's piece of property because I think they sold the piece of property they had there. And the neighbors wanted off of their property. So she's wanting to sell these two high tunnels from Grower Solutions to someone and you have to be able to go there and pick it up. Now, I don't know.
They're in South Carolina and they were 20 by... Gosh, I don't remember. I don't have my phone.
I didn't know the size. Now they were big.
They were good size because their regular. She paid right at $10,000 for both of them.
Yeah.
And all the stuff with them, the shade cloth. I can't remember what all was included. And she wants $8,000 as is. So you would save about $2,000 and shipping.
Yeah.
And that might.
And they're brand new. They've never been put up. They're just still packaged, laying there.
She just needs the money because her husband had a stroke, and then when he went in intensive care, he ended up having another one, I think.
Yeah, he's had several.
And he's on the road to recovery, but he's not able to travel and do, and so they sold their land. So if anybody is in South Carolina or does not mind driving to South Carolina,
yeah.
You just have to contact us, and we'll put you in contact with her. I just don't want to give her.
We're not going to give her information out, but we will. If you contact us and you're interested, for $8,000 you can get two of them, or I'm sure for $4,000. I mean, you could get one.
Maybe
for $4,000. I mean, I don't know, but
But somebody's saying where. I don't know where in South Carolina. She didn't give me that. She lives in another state. She just said they were in South Carolina. Yeah. And she needed the person that they're on a friend's property. They don't want them. They don't want to put high tunnels
right.
up. And so they just told her that it was best that she just sell them outright.
Right.
So deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com, and we will give you her information.
Yeah, and you can talk it over with her instead of us. We just told her. We're just
the middle people. Right?
We told her we would just relay the message, and because I know lots of people are looking for high tunnels. And this is a pretty good savings because you don't have to pay all the shipping. And if you're in South Carolina, or if you don't mind driving over there to get them, I mean, it's, you know, it's really good.
Okay, so Ed wants to know, can you freeze dry sweet potatoes? Yes.
Yes.
What I did with my sweet potatoes last year, and I've been making Danny's desserts until we got our sweet potatoes fresh this time. When I ran out of my canned stuff, I used the freeze dried. I would take, when I was boiling my sweet potatoes, I would boil more than what I needed to make his dessert. And when they were done, I would mash them up and put them on a freeze dryer tray and freeze dry them. So that way they were already ready to go back into a dessert. And you can do them fresh, but they're not as easy to deal with. You just make a powder and then you've got to add them to stuff. But I cooked them, mashed them, and froze them, and then turned them into a powder and added it back to his dessert.
Are 3-year-old heritage turkeys, this is Erica said, are 3-year-old heritage turkeys too old to butcher? And will the meat be tough? Usually processed at 12 months, but hoping to process and sell about 10 next month. Toughness doesn't come necessarily from the age of the bird. Toughness comes from letting it rest after you've done the butchering. It's best to put it in a refrigerator after you've butchered them for about 24 to 48 hours and let the muscles go through rigor mortis and let them relax. And usually they're a lot tenderer if you do that. If you freeze them right after you butcher them, they will be tough.
Somebody's asking about pokeberries. Can you eat them?
Not the berries, you can't.
I would not.
No, the berries are poison.
It's not a scam. This lady is one of our subscribers, and her husband did have a stroke. So I wouldn't send y'all to somebody.
Here's Kyra. Kyra says, I'm the person with the high tone.
Okay, yeah, it was her, but I wasn't going to say anything unless she
did. Unless she said it. I mean, because I happened to see it. I mean,
Danny caught it. I saw it. It's not a scam.
It's not a scam.
So Kyra's here in this chat tonight.
Yeah.
So you might find out through her how to get in touch with her, or else we can get you in touch with her.
Yeah, just contact Kyra, and she will. We told her we would do it, and we did do it.
Yeah. Okay, and the other thing is, Grower Solutions is going to have their Black Friday sales coming up, so we're going to be doing a video this next week explaining some of the things that the Grower Solution would have. So all of you that's been waiting to buy a high tunnel for Black Friday sales, it's going to go on through November, I believe. So you'll have a little bit of time there, and we'll talk about the details next week.
Yeah. The Grower Solutions, guys, I'm telling you. And Wanda and I have a surprise coming up this coming week, I think. If everything goes well, we have a surprise.
We're going to surprise our patrons first.
Yeah, the patrons will be surprised first, and then after that, you know, we'll see how it goes. Mr. Danny, how many greenhouses do you have? I have 3 right now.
We have, well
actually, no, I got 4 or 5.
We got more than that.
Yeah.
We have, on the back of the barn, we have a polycarbonate, that's our first greenhouse.
That's the first one.
It has our pineapples in it, and we've been harvesting pineapples.
Yeah.
We got 2 from Grower Solution that we're growing in. We got a third one that we've got hay in. And
we've got a 4th one, which from Remington's
the
Solar,
small
one. So we got 5 greenhouses.
Yeah.
You reckon we have enough?
No.
Maybe we should get another one.
We don't have enough.
Who knows?
Kira said...
They're 20 by 60.
Yeah. I could remember the 20, and I thought 60, but I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't want to say because I didn't remember exactly. And yes, Kira does ask for your prayers, so thank you guys for remembering her. Can sweet potatoes be raw packed? I raw pack all my sweet potatoes.
Yeah, if you cook a sweet potato and parboil it before you can it cans for 90 minutes, ain't that right? Yeah.
For quarts.
For quarts, and it will literally come all to pieces if you cook it ahead of time. So it's best to raw pack them if you want them to stay intact.
Oh, we didn't tell what the surprise is. We'll tell this next week.
Oh, no, yeah, the surprise comes next week. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now.
Yeah. So with sweet potatoes, I make a syrup. I make a light syrup, but you can do sweet potatoes in water. You don't have to put sugar in it, but the sugar is a preservative.
Yeah.
And I want my sweet potatoes to already have a touch of sugar in them because he doesn't like his dessert real sweet.
Nope.
So I don't have to add any sugar when I make his dessert when I open a jar of sweet potatoes.
Right.
And mine is
It's cooked in a light syrup, right?
1 quart of water to 1 cup of sugar. And then you make as much as you need per ever how many jars you have. And I usually do 3 quarts of water, 3 cups of sugar. Lots of times I cut it back to 2.5 because he really don't like sugar. But 3 quarts will do 7 quarts with your sweet potatoes in them. Is how I figure. Now, if you really like it sweet, you can put 2, 3, 4 cups of sugar in each quart. I mean, it's according to how syrupy you want them. So, what else?
Oh, let's
Bob
see.
says he loves your tractor. It is a classic and well maintained. I am not a farmer, but I love a good old beautiful tractor.
I love my Cub tractor now. I ain't gonna lie to you. That thing is. Still got a few more little things to do to it. It's got a few little hang-ups there still, but I love it. I mean, I wouldn't trade nothing in the world for it right now.
Well, he wanted, when we did hay this week, so let's talk a little bit about the hay.
Oh yeah, we did. We actually baled hay this week.
He wanted to use a sickle bar and cut the hay, so it would just lay it down, because it's amazing watching that sickle bar work.
Yeah.
But he's got all his...
It's completely set up with planters and cultivators and all that kind of stuff.
He didn't want to take all that off.
And it's an act of Congress to get all that stuff off, get it readjusted when you put it back on there. And all. I told Wanda, I said, man, I just hate to take it all off, you know. So my bush hog on my tractor will cut hay pretty good. So I went ahead and just cut the fields with the bush hog because it throws it all to one side. And then we raked it. And I think we have a video coming up, don't we?
Monday, hopefully.
Okay.
Canning sweet potatoes. Pints, 75 minutes. Quarts, 90 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And somebody's asked several times about curing sweet potatoes.
Well, I told them a while ago how to cure sweet potatoes.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The greenhouses are in Anderson, South Carolina, if you know where that is. So, yeah, I had never baled hay. I've seen it from a distance because when I was young, I lived right around a cattle farm, and I saw the guys hauling hay and cutting it and doing all the flipping the hay and all that junk and baling it. And they did square bales back then, and the young guys threw them up on trailers. So, I mean, I saw it from a distance, but I never was a part of it. And throughout my whole life, I've never been around anybody baling hay.
Yeah.
And so it was a different experience, but it's one that I'm glad that we're doing because not many people get to raise their own grass for hay anyways. Right. But with Pecan Grove, with the 40 acres, we have, I don't know how many acres it can be. By next year, we'll have it in pasture.
Yeah, next year, I'm gradually, like today, I spent all day today seeding the fields.
Taking out Yopons.
Taking out Yopons, cutting the grass, letting it lay on top of the seeds that I just put out. I'm up, I don't know how many acres I'm up to of hayfield now.
The one we did that we'll show in the video is behind the barn and right at the pond. And a lot of it wasn't extremely deep, but some of it was very deep. Yeah. And that one's what? 5 acres?
There may be 5 acres in that pasture, but we didn't cut the whole 5 acres, so we only cut about 2 acres of it.
But we didn't know we were going to really be doing that, so we didn't fertilize it and do what we needed to do. So this next year we will be more prepared.
Yeah.
And so that's why he's doing it now. But to actually, the whole process, the cutting the hay, flipping the hay with that hay rake, that's just fun watching it. And then it was a trip learning that baler.
Well, the old baler was set up for someone else's big John Deere tractor, and I had to reset everything on that baler for my farm. I mean, for my Kubota, And it took a while to actually figure it out. Actually, that 25 horsepower Kubota, I had to slow it down in order to use the baler. I had to drop the RPMs down on it really slow for the baler to work because the tractor was just too powerful. And the baler was not baling. It was breaking the strings and it was doing everything because I had it running too high of an RPM. And once I dropped the RPM way back on it and put it in a lower gear and just let it, I basically just took my foot off the accelerator and used the hand throttle, and I just turned around in the seat and watched it bale hay while I drove.
Yeah, I rode on the Ranger beside him and kept an eye on the bales, and when it would dump, and I would give him the thumbs up so that he knew it was still working. And then if, like, it would do several and then it would break.
Yeah.
And we couldn't figure out exactly what was going on, and so I would holler, stop, stop, stop. He would stop, we'd go, and we would tie, because we would stop it before it comes off and falls. And we would tie the broken stuff together, so we still had the bale. We didn't really lose them, but right toward the end, you figured out what was going on.
At the end, by the time we got to the end, I had everything adjusted on it. I had all the rollers adjusted. I had everything adjusted perfect. It was just kicking the bales out perfectly.
But it had come loose out of the needle or something, hadn't it?
Yeah, the string had broken, come out of one of the needles. Yeah.
And that was our problem, and we didn't think to look at that. So we'll be ready for next year maybe.
Yeah.
And then he's going to show y'all an old man's way of
how you load hay.
How you load hay.
Yeah.
And we'll be ready for next year.
Missy V says, do you have to bury red clover or can you just spread it? Literally, you can just spread it. It will actually, once it rains on it, it's not going to come up till it's time for it to come up anyway. Because whenever you cut the fields of clover, the seeds just fall on the ground anyhow. So, I mean, you don't have to bury it. It's best if you want it to come up faster, but you can just throw it on the ground.
Are we happy with the Remington? I guess they're talking about the Remington Solar, the little small one.
The little small one?
I don't think they offer them anymore. That was something that he was getting into, and I think not too many people were really interested, and they were having a problem with the company with production. So I think he quit doing that shortly after he started with the issues he was having. But yeah, we like our little Remington Solar greenhouse. It's a perfect potting shed.
Life with Mike and Jen said, question, should I seed after they gather and bale? Just cut today. Yeah, Jen, that's what we do. As soon as we got through baling, I went out there and seeded the whole thing down. And actually, I ran a section hair over it after I did. But you technically don't have to. But I did it just so I could break up the grass a little bit more.
Yeah, they were saying somebody was making fun about the Yopons. We weren't going to have a Yopon farm. Actually, we have a Yopon farm. There's more Yopons than probably anything else there. And it is used as a coffee substitute. I don't remember the name of the company or whatever it's called, but if I called it, a lot of you probably drink the stuff and don't even know it's Yopon.
Yeah.
But yeah, Danny and I were actually talking about that today, that making our own coffee, and it would be a coffee substitute with Yopons, but we don't have time. And besides that, he's piling them Yopons up in piles, and one day they'll be dirt.
Yeah, they'll be dirt one day. I mean, I'm just taking the Yopons. Look, some of them Yopons are so big. They're like 30 feet tall. If you can imagine a Yopon tree, there's like 3 or 4 of them coming up out of the ground, and they're this big around. And they make trees like 30 feet tall, and I have to take my tractor and dig the roots around them.
Yerba mate, that's it.
And then cave them over, and then take the grapple, and it's all my tractor will do to pick one of them up and take it across the property and put it into a big giant trash pile down there.
Yerba mate, that's the name of the Yopon tea. And yes, they are an expensive plant to buy. I don't
know why in the world anybody would want to buy one of them things.
But that's how Mr. Dan
up at Green Forest Nursery up here got rich off of Yopons.
Him and another guy walked all this property out here and got Yopons and started Yopons, and that's how he started Green Forest Nursery with Yopons and hollies.
wax myrtles,
wax myrtles,
American holly, wax myrtle, and Yopon. Now he only does the female Yopon. He doesn't do the male.
And he sells them all day long through his nursery, and we would give away every one of them.
I hate Yopons with a passion.
They are a very obnoxious plant.
Yeah.
Very much so. That, and what's the China ball?
The China ball trees.
I don't know what that is exactly, but
man.
Thousands of them. And the other one is the
one that the Forestry Commission tells the popcorn tree.
Popcorn, but no, the one we've been taking down so many of.
Tongue nuts.
Tongue nuts.
Yes.
This property is plagued with all of them. Not just one of them, all of them.
Yeah.
There's thousands on thousands of trees on this property that need to come out. I mean, thousands. Oh.
Chris Tomlin. I knew a Chris Tomlin. Planted a small amount of field corn in July zone 8B just to get some seeds. Do I let it field dry like spring sown corn? Yes, you need to let it field dry if you can. Once it breaks and hangs down, then you can harvest it and let it dry later. But
Will Be Cool said he'd sell Yopon cheap. He's got a supply of it
if
too.
he lives where I think he lives at down here, he's like us. He's got all the Yopons he needs, and he'll sell them to you real cheap. But you got to come dig them up, I imagine.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of things when you buy new property, and figuring out which trees you want to keep and which ones you don't. Danny just about has a fit if somebody wants to get rid of a pecan tree. So pecans ain't going nowhere. That Daniel, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, Daniel, thank you. I teach English in high school in Brooklyn. In a high school in Brooklyn, I would love to teach in the South where the
kids are
civil. I have colleagues.
Some of them are.
Yeah, some kids are civil, but now, if you want to see what's coming down the pipe, Daniel, go look at Zach from American Homestead. He has a video up about what they're fixing to start teaching our young kids to do in schools.
There's a couple of schools. I forgot. The first one was in Atlanta.
One was in Atlanta, and I think
the other two were in Missouri.
Yeah.
And I'm just totally shocked that somebody's going to... These kids are allowed to stand in the chairs. They're allowed to holler out their answers. They're allowed to dance. They don't have to be sitting prim and proper in a chair. I'm like, whoa. They're going to be free to express themselves.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. All right. Google says a tongue nut is poisonous, native to China, brought to Florida in 1925. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It is poisonous. Yes, it is.
And we have thousands.
They're very prolific. They're here. They used to use them to make turpentine and paint thinners and all that stuff. It was a big industry back in the 60s. But Camille tore up so many of the trees that they had to quit using them. And now they just come up everywhere now. Yeah,
Jen and Mike said where they disturb the soil for utilities, they've got pigweed.
Oh, pigweed. We have plenty of pigweed here too, Jen.
Oh. Let's see.
Where
are we at?
We're at 8 o'clock. We got
We got anything else we really need to talk about today?
No.
We kind of just chilling today. We've had a pretty good week, though. We've had some cool nights, cool mornings, but warm days. There was a couple of days we wore a jacket or
a hoodie,
long sleeve all day. I think it was in the high 50s.
Yeah.
And then it warmed up yesterday and today to even 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Donnie said they just buried a 35-year-old church member who had cancer. And, the thing about that is cancer is no respecter of person. It doesn't discriminate in any way. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, big, little, who you are. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't discriminate. It is very, it's very bad.
Bob, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, Bob. Yeah.
Juden says, why can't food grow as easy as the weeds? I agree. We can,
because of God. He cursed the land.
We plant the seeds for vegetables.
Yeah.
And the weeds will grow faster than the vegetable seeds would. Lots of times. So
yeah.
I'm finding that with the carrots. I planted some carrots back here, and I think I'm gonna have a bed full of weeds before the carrots.
You didn't put nothing over the top of it.
I know.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And it dried out. So I don't know if I'll have carrots
yeah,
or not.
You may have to re-wet it and put something over
I
it.
did. I re-wet it, but I don't know if it's gonna do or not.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. I guess we need to. Yeah, guys, I need y'all to pray for. I mean, I don't hardly ever ask for prayers very often, but I'm having problems with my eyes, my vision. I'm having I think I have a torn retina, and I'm having a lot of problem with my vision now. So, and I'm not at a point where I can stop anything right now. I'm at a very, very crucial point in my life with getting things done. I can't just quit at the moment. So
you may have to, and you don't want to for 6 weeks.
Yeah, I don't want to have to quit for weeks on end because I'm at a very crucial point with prepping with what I need to get done, and I pray every day that God helps me to be able to make it, to the point where I can go see the eye doctor and to be able to get it taken care of.
All right, Christina said their 150-year-old pecan tree dropped a branch the size of a 30-year-old tree. What's the best use for that wood?
We use it for smoking bacon or sausage, or you can use it in the fireplace. I mean, it just all depends, and what your needs are, basically. I mean, it's probably not big enough to saw up into lumber. So,
yeah, they telling you really need to go ahead and have this thing. I've been telling that, but he don't want to stop yet, and I'm like, okay.
If I stop right now, there's so many loose ends that hasn't been tied up that there's no way I'll catch back up and get them done in time for the cold weather.
He hasn't been welding. He doesn't weld.
I don't. Well, I used to weld, but I haven't welded in, gosh, probably 15, 20 years now.
Yeah. Sal says, I tried to do some modest gardening on the terrace. I have a condo. 2 storms destroyed everything. Is it possible to do indoor fruit and veggie gardening without attracting bugs in my apartment?
Yeah, it's all doable. Just be cautious about what you bring into your apartment. That's the key thing.
Types of soil.
The types of soil and stuff like that you bring in. That's where most people don't understand. That's where white flies come from. White flies, lots of times, if you bring in different potting soils, that's not good potting soil, the white flies are in that potting soil, and they get started into something. I mean, it's a gamble. I'll be honest with you. It's a gamble any way you do it, but it can be done.
Yeah. Everybody's telling you need to have your eyes fixed. See? Okay.
Okay. Okay. I guess we need to pray because lots of people have to. It's already way late for them. I don't have my watch on. I feel naked.
Yeah, I bought him a new watch this week.
Yeah.
His old one was getting a little. The light quit working, and he couldn't see at night what time it was, and it was probably 2 years older. So I bought him a new watch, and when he took a shower, he forgot to put it on. So he's sitting here looking for his watch, and it's not there.
Yeah.
So lots of people have prayer requests of all kinds. Can I put 2 strawberry plugs per pot in a green stalk tower? Yes, the deal with the green stalk is you've got to get that dirt all the way up and
to the very top.
To the very top, and you barely put the roots of the strawberry in, and it takes a while. Instead of watering from the top like normal with the green stalk, I sprinkle in each one of them around when I have strawberries, because you want those roots, they're really high up. You want them to get wet every day, and the green stalk, with the way the water drains, it takes a while for them strawberries to really take hold. Once they take hold, you're good. But
Yeah.
initially, water each little pocket, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and pray here, where we can let some of these people get off of here. Father, we come to you tonight, Lord. There's a ton of requests in here tonight. And, Lord, I'm just, tonight, it's been a good night. And I'm very thankful that we have this opportunity to sit down with people and to be able to be a blessing to them, Lord, because it's just our way of giving back to what they've given to us now. And Father, we thank you that you've been good to us, and we pray that the ones that are having problems with the different requests that are mentioned here tonight, that Lord, you'd just you'd answer their prayers for them. The Scripture teaches us that the effectual prayer of a righteous man availeth much. I don't classify myself as a righteous person, but I do believe in praying for other people. And Lord, I do want to pray for these people. I want to lift them up before you, and I want to make their requests known publicly. I mean, they thought enough and believed enough and had faith enough to mention it. And I believe that when a person has that kind of faith, that they'll carry through with it. Like you said in James, we have not because we ask not. But when we ask amiss. We ask for the wrong intent. So, Father, I pray that they're asking for the right reasons to have their prayer requests answered. And I'm asking that you answer it for them. And I want you to be a God to them. I want you to show yourself. I want you to show out to them, and let them know that they're not alone. Let them know that when they ask something, that it can happen. And I pray that they don't use you like a rabbit's foot and think that they can only talk to you when they have a problem. I pray that they'll talk to you all the time. Because I mean, Lord, I know you probably get tired of me because I talk to you like 24/7, and I sometimes I don't ever shut up. And I know you probably look at the angels in heaven and say, man, this guy's really, he don't ever get quiet. But I feel like that, that we need that relationship with you. We need, that's the reason when we cry out, Abba, Father, that's like saying Daddy. It's getting intimate. And until we get those requests down to being intimate, it's not until then that you're actually there for us to really answer our prayers. I mean, when we look at you like our true Father instead of like a figure or an image in our imagination, then you feel more for us at that time, and our relationship becomes more personal with you. So thank you for being there for us when we need you, and I do pray you'll answer all the requests that's mentioned here tonight. And Lord, a lot of us are trying to, I have to watch what I'm saying, but a lot of us are trying to get prepared for the very unseen times that lie right ahead of us due to the fact that we've got a lot of things going on across the water, and it's going to change a lot of stuff for us over here, and we're trying to get prepared for it as quickly as possible. So please be with us in that aspect, Father, and help us to accomplish all of our goals now. We ask these things in thy name. Amen. Okay.
I do know, prep-wise, gas and diesel, if you need that. Propane, top your tanks out, keep an eye on them over the next few weeks, because if you pay $4 a gallon right now, 3 weeks from now you may be paying $6, $7, $8, who knows.
Yeah, it's going to get crazy. I mean, a lot of y'all may not know this. I'm going to tell you something, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for this, but the gas in America, or let's say the fuel, let's just say the fuel in America, which be diesel, gas, all of it, first goes to our military, because of, we have to have, the military gets first ops at all fuel here in America. Israel gets second ops at the fuel. Our military first, Israel is second, and we as the consumer come in third. So, because we're fixing to go into war, our military is going to be using a lot of fuel. And now Israel is looking at going to war. They're going to be using a lot of fuel. And as a third consumer here, our prices are going to skyrocket more than we want to pay, I'm sure. So,
and that raises the price of food.
When you raise the price of fuel, then all trucking companies have to raise their prices. All prices of everything across the board that has to be transported, mainly food and commodities and services and goods and all this kind of stuff. The prices of everything is going to skyrocket. I actually heard this. Now, don't quote me on this, but I have heard that fuel could go as high as $20 a gallon. Now,
there's no way we could do that.
I mean, I don't know.
That's crazy.
I don't know how anybody would afford anything if it went to $20 a gallon. I've heard that it could very soon go to $10 a gallon in some places. I've heard that in California, there's places it's already $6 to $8 a gallon, so 10 wouldn't be out of the question for them. So, I mean, guys, that's one of the things that's kind of scary, because if that happens, you can only imagine what a box of cereal or something would cost, or produce in a loaf of bread, fresh produce in a grocery store. I mean, you can only imagine what that stuff would cost.
And it's already, I saw somebody at the beginning of the chat say that they went to the grocery store for the first time in several weeks and said they like to have dropped their teeth. I think they said they spent $300 and something.
And probably come out with less than a buggy.
Yeah. And that's unreal. That is just unreal. You shouldn't have to spend more than $100 a week to feed a family. I mean,
right.
That you should be able to just pick up the little necessity things and all.
Jen said where her kids are out there in California, it's already over $7 a gallon.
Yeah.
I guess it's California where she's talking about.
Yeah. I think so. And there's House Tools. Hey, guys.
Hey.
But if the price of food goes up, and a lot of you, we're going into the winter.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to grow things. Some of you can grow cabbages and your broccolis and lettuce and stuff, but you can grow inside your house. You can grow microgreens and sprouts.
Yeah.
You can take and do sprouts. But with both of those, you need seed. So, hey, House Tools popped in. They have microgreens.
Yeah, I mean, guys,
I know they have plenty because I have a pack.
We just found a pack today that we had from House Tool. We didn't even know we had.
Danny found a box and opened it up.
Yeah.
I'm looking and I'm saying, hey, we got microgreens. It was the black oil sunflower seeds.
I think so, yeah.
And I said, those are awesome on a salad. Well, when you sprout them.
What I do is I order my fish emulsion from House Tool.
Yeah.
And I ordered like several containers of it, and inside there they throwed us some microgreen seeds in it.
He knew what was in the box.
I knew what was in the box. I just
didn't open it.
I didn't open it. I
just
stayed on the shelf. I said, when springtime comes, I'll have it. So we got microgreens now.
Yep. And really, the sunflowers are awesome as microgreens. But you can grow lettuce inside your house. Somebody was asking what you could grow inside.
Thank you, Twisted Ponies.
Any of your microgreens, your lettuce, but sprouts are something you can do on a shelf in your pantry.
Yeah.
And you need to eat those within, I think, by 3 days they're sprouted, and you need to eat them within 3 to 4 days. So you would be constantly redoing that, but seeds is something you need to make that happen. So San Diego's $5 and so I don't know what it is. Here's $4 something. Well, we get it from a local guy.
We get it from a local guy who pump. We get non-ethanol. We don't put ethanol gas in nothing we drive.
The guy comes out, pumps the gas for us, and all this.
And it's an old-fashioned service station.
And we don't have a clue what he's charging us per gallon. I don't ask. I just
don't
get my
ask.
ticket and I don't figure it. I
Yeah.
just, we go with it because I like the small town values of him pumping the gas and just, sitting and joshing with him, and he's fun to be around. So it's worth a little bit more than normal to pay for that. And good gas. They're saying sprout your dried beans. Yeah, go to the grocery store and buy a bunch of dried beans.
Dried beans, yeah. You can
Most people have beans, bullets, and rice.
Yeah, and you can grow those beans in the field too, because I have.
You can't grow bullets.
No, you can't grow a bullet. That's for sure.
But rice now.
But anyway, look, I got to give these people a tip.
Oh, that wasn't your tip?
No, that was not my tip.
Okay, never mind.
That was just an added bonus. Time. That was an added bonus, I reckon. Okay. Anyway, for the tip of tonight, listen to what I'm fixing to tell you. And I can't go into detail because he doesn't pull one of my videos because of information they said was not supposed to be there. So, the first thing you need to have on your nightstand, now listen to me, the first thing you need to have on your nightstand is a flashlight. You need to get you a flashlight so that in the middle of the night, if you need to grab that thing, you can just turn and lay your hand on it. Don't ask me why. I'm just telling you, get you a flashlight, a dependable, good flashlight, one that can be recharged if possible, and make sure you have it within hand's distance of your bed and you can reach and grab it in the dark and not have to hunt it.
Yeah, we have plenty of O-lights and we keep them in different places according to where we're at.
And know where have all your valuable papers in one location that you can get to with that flashlight quickly. All your medical records, your deeds to your property, marriage license, I mean, whatever you got to, you classify as your valuable papers. Make sure you have all that stuff in one location that you can take a flashlight and get to it very quickly. Because, just trust me on this one, make sure you have that where you can get to it. And not have to go digging and fumbling and hunting for it.
Poppy Seed says, I need a nightstand first. I'm using a tote for a nightstand. Lay it on top of your tote.
We have done that. It's funny you say that. Wanda and I both have done that. We actually took an old piece of furniture stuff. It made a little stand out of it because Wanda sometimes she gets hot and she needs a fan on her at night. And we got these little small. Where am I at? Here we are. Little small fans. It's about 12 inches by 12 inches, and she'll plug that thing in because it don't make any noise, and it kind of blows a light breeze across her there. And we've put them fans up on top of everything. I even went as far as to screw 2 2x4s to the wall and laid a board across it on the wall so she could stick her fan up there. You know what I mean? I'm not above doing anything like that.
We did all that in the cabin and had little things done. One of the O-lights is a headlight.
Yeah.
And I would take the headlight, the stretchy part of it, and put it around the post of the bed so that I could just reach up and find it when I need it, because the cabin is off grid and there's no lighting. Now we have it. You can get up and go to the room next to us and flip on the 12 volts?
The 12 volt lights, and you can have lights.
Turn lights on.
Yeah.
But we don't have a switch by the bed. So you still have to get up, you still have to have your flashlight and go. So when it's dark, you really are disoriented sometimes. So you need to have a flashlight handy. What else?
Just a flashlight and have your valuable papers where you can get to them quickly, and I can't go into details about it. Don't freak out, okay? Don't panic or.
Just know that if it's dark, you need a way to see.
In an emergency, a hypothetical emergency happens, and you need to get to it. You can, because let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think so. But lots of you know Somebody's wanting to know, would you drain an old well that hasn't been used in 30 years?
I don't know how you would drain an old well if it ain't been used in 30 years, because water runs to it. Water runs in and out of wells all the time. It never really sits there. If it's an active well and a real well, then it has a spring in the bottom of it, so the water's constantly running through it all the time.
Jen has a good thing. She said they had whistles on their headboards when they lived in California for earthquakes.
Yeah.
That's also a really good idea on a homestead where you have some acreage, because really I think we should put one on a tractor and the Ranger in different places, because if one of us got off,
yeah,
having a whistle to blow back and somebody hunting you, you could blow the whistle. Yeah. Because I don't yell. I'm not good at yelling. Debbie says I can't yell if I
Wanda couldn't yell if she had to.
So it might pay us to think about some whistles and have them handy for making racket.
Yeah, but anyway, we got to get off here, guys. It's way past my bedtime, to be honest with you. And we love you and we appreciate y'all for staying here with us tonight. And I pray that we've been able to be a blessing to you. So have a good night, and we will see y'all in the next video, I hope.